to ask you too, big revelations today. A Belt and Road deal, a secret document has made its way in the public domain. I think it was forced by the upper house to be released. It's the Memorandum of Understanding between the Victorian government, the Chinese government. It comes from 2017. It doesn't make for good reading. This is a deal personally negotiated by the Premier. It included offers to support Chinese companies doing business in Victoria with both market access and encouragement to invest in large public projects. Now, what would an Australian company feel like reading that there is some sort of preferential inside running for a Chinese company under this secret deal?
Wouldn't matter what country the company's from. It just seems to me to be institutionally wrong. I think it's something the Broad-Based Anti-Corruption Commission should have a look at. You can't go and offer market advantage to anyone. If you're going out to market for a tender and a proper process, that doesn't mean you sign a deal with any government, let alone a foreign government, to then say, well, come to our state and we'll give you preferential treatment. It doesn't, and it shouldn't work like that, certainly not in a democracy like Australia.
Well, I have to say too, not in relation to China either, when we know that there's a lot of slave labour coming out worryingly from some of the Chinese factories, particularly in the Uyghur area. I've got to ask you this before we go. You're a dad of 3 boys, but I'm hearing from a lot of anxious parents that community sports clubs are folding. They haven't had much patronage over the last 2 years. They operate under the smell of an oily rag anyway. Parents want their kids back in school. They want their kids back in some sort of organised sport. But we could come out of lockdown and find that those sporting clubs are just not there, Matthew Guy.
Yeah, more than that, Peter, not just sporting clubs. There's things like scouts as well. I know the scouts in my area are doing it very, very tough with membership because you can't really hold those kind of outdoor organisations over Zoom. And there's only so long as I know as a dad that you can keep kids interested in online scouting or online cubs or footy clubs, as you say rightly. When you come out, well, what's the membership base that's left? How do you get Auskick out there for kids who've literally missed 2 years of Auskick to get them interested in AFL, for instance? The same with juniors when it comes to soccer, the same with kids when it comes to netball. There are juniors that operate in order to transition kids through into the seniors, the mid-level and the seniors in those sports. They haven't effectively operated in Melbourne for 2 years. So you're looking at a huge gap in how those sports operates. Now, go back to the step before. That is also playing a large role on kids' mental health because, as we know, that is an outlet for so many kids, particularly in the suburbs, particularly in country and regional Victoria. But in Melbourne, the most locked-down city in the world, think of the mental health impacts that has on kids. That is not going to be an easy fix. When we come out of these problems with COVID, when we come out of lockdown, we will face those problems with younger kids, and I know this from my kids and their friends, that will be a major issue for the state to deal with. It is still a hidden pandemic that the government almost fails to acknowledge is a problem for our state, but it will be there for a long time.
Matthew Guy, thank you for your time.
Pleasure, thank you.